Welcome to your Platform Q learning experience. This video tutorial will show you how to create a Platform Q data model that calculates sales cycles in days for each one deal. Furthermore, there are a couple of learning objectives that we want to achieve. The learning objectives are how to upload files from your desktop on Platform Q and how to prepare the settings, how to merge Q objects with each other, how to change date formats into Unix timestamp formats, and how to calculate time span durations. Let's start. We have two Microsoft Excel files on our desktop. Both Excel files contain information about sales agents and how they perform. Our goal is to calculate the sales cycle in days for each one deal. There are two ways to upload Excel files on Platform Q. You can either use the Connectivity Workbench and create a connection to a file share system, such as Dropbox, FTP, or Share. The other option is to upload files from your desktop directly. The file upload can be accomplished via the Data Sources application. We open Platform Q and the Data Sources application. Next to Create New Object is the File Upload button. There are two ways how to upload your file. You can either search via the document browser, or you can drag and drop your file on Platform Q. In both cases, you will be led to the Setup Sheet configuration window to configure your Microsoft Excel sheet. There are several opportunities to configure your Excel sheet. You can determine whether your Excel sheet has headers or not. In case your Excel file has no headers, the columns are simply numbered. The column names can be given afterwards via Select Fields and Rename. Furthermore, you can determine the row in which the column names are. If the column name is in more than one row, you can specify up to how many rows the column name goes. In addition, you can determine the start row and limit the number of rows that shall be displayed. Lastly, you can ignore rows from the end. We click on Select Fields to seal all column names. Beneath Field Name is the name of the field. We have a sales agent ID, an order date, the opportunity size of each deal, and a couple of other fields. Sometimes it is necessary to change data types. In our example, we have uploaded an Excel file. Originally, the data type of a field in Excel is a string. We want to run calculations on the field opportunity size later. So it makes sense to change the data type from string to decimal. The string data type displays text and the decimal data type displays values with decimal places. Set a name for the Q object and click on Save and Execute. The result set will appear in a few seconds. Let's summarize what we have learned. You can upload files with the help of the Data Sources application. You can specify the data you want to upload via the Setup Sheet. Furthermore, you can change the data type of a field from its original data type to a target data type that will be used on Platform Q. We have two data sources that contain information about the sales performance in the United States and in Germany. Our goal is to merge them into one single Q object. This Q object will contain the information from Germany and the United States. A merge means that the Q objects will not be enriched in their structure. However, the data rows from each Q object will be combined. As a result, we will receive one Q object with the data from all Q objects that will be used for the merge. It is possible to add as many Q objects as required. We open the Business Object Builder to use the operation Merge Q Objects. We have two Excel files that were uploaded. One contains sales performance information from the United States. The other data source contains information about the sales performance from Germany. The next step will be to merge these two Q objects together. The Q object Sales Performance Germany has the same structure as the Q object Sales Performance United States. This allows us to merge these two Q objects. In case of structure differences, it is necessary to remove them. A difference can be another field name or a different number of columns in each Q object. If both Q objects have a different structure, the merge cannot happen. You need to select the first Q object. We select the data source Sales Performance Germany. As you can see, it is not possible to select the operation merge Q objects yet. The reason why we have to save the Q object first is because Platform Q needs to know the structure of our selected Q object. Set a name for the Q object. We name the Q object Sales Performance Total. Now that Platform Q has saved the Q object Sales Performance Total, we can use the merge Q objects operation. Platform Q identifies one more Q object that has the same structure. It is the Q object Sales Performance United States. We select the Q object and confirm our selection with the green check mark. Now that we have both Q objects merged, it is time to filter the Q object. We want to display successful deals. Add another operation by clicking on the plus button next to the Sales Performance Germany Q object. Click on Filter. We want to filter the field Status. Set the operator to equal and type in a fixed value. In this case, it is the string 1. Confirm your filter via the green checkmark button. We have set up all operations we need. Save your Q object again via the floppy disk button and execute it to see the result set. After a couple of seconds, you can see the result set of the Q object Sales Performance Total. As you can see, there is only data with the status 1. That means that every row has an entry in the fields Begin Sales Cycle and Order Date. We are going to need a starting point and an end point as parameters to add them for a service within the Simulation Workbench later. Let's summarize what we have learned so far. You have learned that you can merge two Q objects that have the same structure. Platform Q helps you to find potential Q objects for the merge. Objects that do not have the same structure cannot be selected for a merge. Furthermore, you have learned how to set up a condition on a field. You can also create simple filter operations or even more complex ones by creating groups. We created a Q object that contains all the data we need to calculate the sales cycle for each deal. Now it is time to change the date format of the fields Begin Sales Cycle and Order Date into the Unix timestamp format. The Unix timestamp is a way to track time as a running total of seconds. This format allows us to calculate the duration between dates or harmonize different formats into one target state format. The Simulation Workbench contains a huge variety of services, including the service to timestamp within expressions and the time span duration in date calculations. We open the Simulation Workbench application. First of all, we are going to select the data for our calculation. You can select one Q object that provides the data. We have merged and filtered a Q object before. We are going to search in business objects for Sales Performance Total. This Q object contains two columns, Begin Sales Cycle and Order Date. The next step is to use a function from Quick Functions and Expressions. We also need a starting point, which is represented as a white dot. Connect the required starting point, the Q object Sales Performance Total, and the expression with each other. We make a double click on Settings above the Expressions module. A new window opens and we can create a quick script. A quick script is a script that contains expression functions. Expressions functions can calculate values, you can search for substrings, remove and add zero fill, and a lot more. In our example, we want to generate a new column that displays a date format as a Unix timestamp. Each script will generate a new column. We want to create 2 new columns. Therefore, we need to create 2 quick scripts. The name of the first column will be begin sales cycle timestamp. Click on the plus button to create a second quick script. The name of the second column will be order date timestamp. You can either search for fields and functions via the search bar, or you can simply start to type within the editor to create your function. We add the function to timestamp and select the field begin sales cycle. The function requires the exact date format of the field begin sales cycle. Close the window. Click on the data source icon to display the data. This way, we can identify the date format quickly. Go back to the settings configuration and add the date format to your function, and repeat the process for the quick script order date timestamp. Close the configuration afterwards. Confirm everything with the green check mark. Create a second function module. This time we are going to select the function time span calculation. You can find the time span calculation function within date calculations. Connect the first expression with the time span calculation function. You can do this again with a drag and drop approach. Double click on settings. You can see 4 fields. The first field means name of output column. In this field, you are going to add the name of the output field. For example, sales cycle in days. The second field is the start column. In this field, we are going to add the field begin sales cycle timestamp. The third field is the end column. This field requires the order date timestamp. At the end, we need to determine the unit of the output. We want to display the sales cycle in days. Confirm all the configurations with the green check mark. Save your Q object again and click on execute. A few seconds afterwards, you can have a look at the new column that displays the sales cycle of each one deal in days. Let's summarize what we have learned so far. You have learned that any executable Q object can be used as a source to create a new simulation. Furthermore, you can select a mathematical function and services to enrich your Q object. You have seen that it is possible to change a date format into a Unix timestamp. In addition, you have learned that you can consume new created columns immediately within the next service. And you can review single steps by clicking on the function module. Thank you very much for your attention. We hope that you have enjoyed this learning experience with Platform Q. Have a great day!